we do take questions. So if you have any questions during the presentation, just pop those into that chat box and we will do that Q&A at the end. Okay, so it is officially time to get started. So thank you for joining us today for Tuesdays at 2. And I'm your host, Antoinette LaGrossa. In this edition, we will be taking a look at division with the decimal material and number cards. So we're going to take something that's usually pretty abstract and make it very concrete and present it in a way that kids are really able to understand it very well. Let's see. So let's go ahead and dive in. I know that we have mentioned this Maria Montessori quote in the past, but it is super important to remember this, and that is that what the hand does, the mind remembers. So again, when introducing any concept, you would best practice is that your materials are multisensory, that you're presenting this concept in the visual, tactile, auditory, and kinesthetic components. Okay, so the materials that we're going to be using with this are from our Math Kit 1, which is for pre-K through 3rd grade generally, but it does take you through 4-digit multiplication and division. So the first thing we're using from that is the work mat. The work mat sets the stage, defines the workspace, and actually helps to focus attention. And very nicely promotes good work habits. Okay, we're going to be using all of our decimal material. So your 100 unit cubes, 27 10 rods, 2700 flats, and all 17 of those 1,000 cubes. You want all of those so that you'll be able to do a variety of problems. So make sure you have all of your 1,000 cube flats folded together as well. And then our number cards, and from the operator set, you're going to need that division sign. You can use the equal sign from your operator set. You can also use a ruler to be able to show the equal sign in the other format. And then for this activity, we want your child to choose 3 of their favorite stuffed animal or action figure friends and have those around the mat. Now, in the prerequisites for this, you want your child to have done the 4-digit addition, subtraction, and multiplication with the decimal material and number cards. Okay, for all of the activities that we do with the decimal material, with those different operations, I recommend placing the materials bank a few feet away from the work mat. That way they're going to be engaging those major muscle groups. And then the initial presentation, you want to select a 4-digit number divided by a single digit. Now, in this case, in lesson book 3, we are going to be using the example problem that is presented in lesson 3-8. So it gives that to you. Oh, I'm sorry, not 3-8. We're actually starting with the 3-9 problem. So that is what you're going to be seeing in just a moment. Okay, so as with all of our other activities, this is completely scripted out for you in the lesson book, but we're just going to take a look at how that, what that looks like. So I will not be going through the entire script, abbreviating that. Okay, so in our instance, we're showing the decimal material right there at the mat. That's simply so that you can see the materials we're using. Again, we do recommend that to be a few feet away. In this instance, our friends today are some dinosaurs. Um, so we've got 3 dinosaurs around our mat, and 3,069 divided by 3. Okay, first thing we do is have our child get the materials for that number. So we've got the 3,000 cubes, 0 hundreds, because they're, and in this instance, we are using the 0 number card for that place value to reinforce that we have nothing from that place value to be sharing. So we've got the 3,000s, the 6 10 rods, the 9 unit cubes, and we're going to divide that by 3. What we're going to do here is give each of our friends an equal share of those materials. Kids have an innate sense of fairness. They know what an equal share is. Now, when we worked with multi-digit addition and subtraction, we started working with our ones first. And the multiplication as well. When we're doing division with the materials, we're going to start sharing exactly what, in the order exactly the way they'll be doing later on abstractly with pencil and paper. So as opposed to working with those ones first, we're going to start off by giving each of our dinosaurs an equal share of the thousands. So each of our dinosaurs get 1 of those 1,000 cubes. Now, in the instance of giving each of them an equal share with the 3,000s, that's pretty easy. Most kids are going to immediately know that, well, they're each going to get 1. If they don't know that, they can simply divide those up 1 at a time, going around the mat, just like you would if you were dealing out cards. Okay, so again, we don't have any hundreds to share, so we're gonna not give any of our friends any hundreds, and then we will share those tens. Again, by this point, most kids, once they've been through the curriculum, will just know that, okay, well, 6 divided by 3 is 2, but if not, again, they can deal those out 1 at a time. And then sharing the 9 ones, each of our dinosaurs is going to be getting 3 of the units. Okay, so we have given our friends equal shares of all the materials. Let's see how much they received. And so we'll look at just one of those piles and get out the number cards for that answer. So we see that, okay, we've got 1,000 cube. We don't have any hundreds. We have 2 10 rods and then 3 of the ones. So then we can now put this together into division problem format. So we've got that 3,069 divided by 3, and in this case, I'm going to use my ruler as my equal sign. Equals 1,000, 0 hundreds, 2 tens, and 3 ones, so that's 1,023. Kids are going to get that. Okay, so now we've done the initial presentation. There's an additional set of example practice problems for them to go through from that. And then they're going to revisit that activity as frequently as necessary in order to master this skill at this level. Once they are good with this skill, we're going to move on to doing division with exchange. So for this example problem, we'll do 1,236 divided by 3. Okay, so first thing we do just as before, is we're going to give our friends equal share of the thousands. Well, oh, but we only have 1,000 cube, so we have to go to our materials bank and exchange that 1,000 cube for 10 of the hundreds. Okay. So once we do that, now we've got our 12 hundreds, the 3 tens, and the 6 ones. Now we can give an equal share of those hundreds. We have 12 of them. We're giving out, dividing those into 3 piles amongst our 3 friends. So that's going to be, they'll each get 4 of the hundreds. Now let's share our tens. They will each get 1 of the tens. Excellent. Let's share those ones. 6 shared 3 ways, or 6 divided by 3. They're each getting 2 of the ones. Let's see what each of our friends got. They each have 4 hundreds, 1 10, and 2 ones. So that's doing the division with exchange. Okay, now they practice this. They get good at that. And we are going to add to their skill set division with remainders. So in this instance, we are going to take 1,234 divided by 3. And again, we're not able to share just one of the thousands amongst our friends. So we can go ahead, go to our materials bank, and we're going to exchange that 1,000 for 10 of our hundreds. Okay, so we've got those 10 hundreds, they get added to our hundreds pile, and now we can share those. We've got, just like before, we've got 12 of the hundreds. We're sharing those with 3 friends. 12 divided by 3, that's going to be 4. So each of our friends are getting 4 of the hundreds. We're going to give a share of our tens. 3 divided by 3. Each friend is getting just 1 of those tens. And now we're going to share our ones. We've got 4 ones. We give each of our friends an equal share. They each again get 1. Now we've got 1 left over. We don't have any more place values where we can exchange anything. So we actually have something left over from this problem. So now we are going to take a look at what each of our friends got. They each have 4 hundreds, 1 10, 2 ones, but we have that 1 left over. And to do that, you can use, in this case, I simply used an index card and wrote an R on it to show the remainder. You can use a card from your operator set, any of those cards, and simply write an R on the reverse side. You can use a Sharpie, but you will be able to show, just like they would be writing abstractly with pencil and paper, that they have a remainder. You can show that with the card. So 1,234 divided by 3 is 411 with a remainder of 1. Okay, and it looks like, Spirit, did you get that with the exchange where you're simply, whatever place value it is that you're not able to share equally, you simply look to the right of that, and if there is a place value there, you are going to exchange that out, and it simply gets added to that next place value, and then you share that all the way through the problem until you have shared equally everything that's available for sharing. Like in this case, once we get down to, okay, we gave shared the ones and each friend got one, and then there was a remainder of one left over. There's no way that we can continue to exchange that out. Okay, so each step along the way, whether you're doing that initial presentation where you don't have any exchange, or you're doing just exchange, or this step where you have exchanges and remainders, every step along the way, you want to have the child practice until they have mastered the skill at that level. Again, how many practice problems that is, it's going to vary from child to child. You know, some kids will, after that initial presentation, spend a couple of days doing that with the problem set in the book, and then be ready to move on to that next step. Some kids may take, you know, weeks to be able to master that skill. You simply want to move them through as they master that skill at that level. Vary the number of place values so that it's not always a 4-digit. Vary where the 0 falls within a number. And then make sure the child, Larry Schiller, he's got a great 4-part video series on competency and closure. Highly recommend checking that out. It's on the ShillerLearning YouTube channel. But competency and closure, quick summary of that is competency, they get it, and closure is that they are ready to move on. So the first possible outcome is both of those happen. They get it, they're ready to move on. Wonderful, we go to the next activity. If they have competency but not closure, they get it, but they still want to keep doing the activity, doesn't mean they're wasting time. Sometimes as a type A parent, that's a little difficult to say, okay, well, I see you get it, let's move on to the next thing. As long as they are willing to, you know, take the time and make the effort, pull those materials out, do that activity, it means they have not yet gotten all of the possible benefit from that. Just let them continue to work on that. They'll let you know when they're ready to move on. And then allowing the child to create their own additional practice problems. That is going to help add additional understanding to the knowledge. If, you know, as you saw, this was all hands-on, the child wasn't even writing, which is awesome for you, the kids who aren't fans of writing. My older boys used the number cards, even once we went into Math Kit 2, which is for 4th grade through pre-algebra. Math Kit 1, which this is an activity from, that covers pre-K through 3rd grade. So Math Kit 1, you've got pre-K, kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade concepts. But in here, they weren't writing for those activities. So what if after that initial presentation, you're doing something else while your child is doing their independent work? They can simply take pictures of the problems that they're constructing with their number cards, and you can flip through those on your phone, or they can even learn some additional technology skills and do a slideshow or PowerPoint of the work. If you have Google Docs, there's a slide program in there. Or alternatively is if you have a child who loves to write, they can go ahead and write those numbers down, and that way you can check them after the fact that way also. Okay, it looks like we have some questions in there about the Math Facts Boot Camp. We are running a Math Facts Boot Camp. We're actually in the middle of our first session of that now. That class was full, so registration for that did close. I believe registration for our November class is still open. Amanda, is the November registration still open, or has that filled up already? So the Math Facts Boot Camp
It's still open.
It is still open. Okay, awesome. It is.
Yeah, I posted the link for the registration in the comments for anybody that's
Excellent.
interested.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and I'm just scrolling back through there. The Math Facts Boot Camp is for any child, regardless of age, who is still working on mastering their math facts. And we give them, we're training them to do activities they can do on their own so that they'll be able to spend 2 to 5 minutes a day working on their math facts in multisensory ways that are going to be fun and inviting, so that, and that is actually, so the Tuesdays at 2, these are primarily for parents. The Math Facts Boot Camp, that is a class for kids. So you can enroll your kids. It's a live class. We have a lot of fun in that. Okay, did anyone have any other questions about the division with the decimal material and number cards? Once the child has gone through these activities and mastered these skills, the next level, the next step toward abstraction will be working with the division with the number tiles. Next week's Tuesday at 2, we have a special guest. Super excited about this, Heather Bowen from Mom for All Seasons. She is also the fabulous organizer of the Top Picks Homeschool Curriculum Fair. It is a Facebook group. So if you don't have a homeschool convention in your area, or, well, it started this year because of all the homeschool conventions having been canceled. It's an awesome group. Heather will be with us next week with tips for homeschoolers and keeping things fresh and not getting burnt out. The following week, we will be doing division with the number tiles. Okay, excellent. Well, it looks like I did catch all of the questions. If you are doing this activity, we would love to see pictures of your kids with their favorite friends, whatever they are. You know, this helps to give us a glimpse into your child and what they're into. But if you want to share those pictures on social media, you can tag us on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, or Twitter. We would love to see your child sharing with their friends. Thank you.